Hey guys, my name is Ray, and I want to tell you something that I've said before in a typed medium, but I want to tell you in person. So, as a child, I was a common thief. I had scams that you probably couldn't even think of back then because I looked at ways to exploit the system. One of the things that I used to do frequently as a thief, because essentially I was still stealing, was I would take and legitimately purchase a Game Boy game. For those of you who don't know, we used to have these portable gaming devices, and those portable gaming devices had these cartridges that you put into the device to play a game. And I would play games like, I think there was Super Mario Brothers, there was one version of Zelda, and Tetris. I never let go of Tetris. But there were other games. I don't remember all of them, but let's just say that I was talking about Super Mario Brothers and Zelda. So what I would do with the Game Boy game that I bought initially is I would take that game and play it until I beat it. Now, not all the games were all that challenging, so sometimes you could move through that game within a week or so. And then what I would do is take that game back to Walmart and return it. And then I would take that store credit and use it to purchase another game. So in a way that was theft. It's theft just the way like downloading songs off of Napster or off of the news groups where I downloaded a lot of songs. It's just like that, where you're basically taking data and repurposing it. And when it came down to it, that still is the same as theft. Now, I didn't just do things like that. I mean, I literally would walk into a place, and when Walkmans were a big thing, they made fancier and fancier Walkmans to where there was one that was barely bigger than the cassette tape that fit into it. I mean, those things were expensive, and I didn't have any income back then. I was in a whole different pay grade, my family was, than most of the people who I went to school with. Now, I'm not justifying any of this. I'm just telling you who I am so that you understand as I'm telling you these things, I'm not being critical of you. If you feel any kind of critical, it's because I'm judging myself. That's essentially who we're all being judged by, and we can tell how we're being judged by the voice that's in our head. So as we're thinking about things and reading communications from other people, well, it might make us feel a certain way. And I recognized that because as I heard things that had to do with, theft and whatever, those kind of things resonated with me in a way like, that's kind of personal. It struck a chord. The same way that if I hear about people who grew up in households where you had, let's say, an alcoholic parent or something like that, those kind of things stick with me because those are my personal journey. Those are my personal choices that I made that got me to where I am. Now, there were a lot of ways that I've exploited the system in the past, and then I recognized you don't have to exploit the system. You basically go with the flow. You go with the current. You do the right thing, and you get paid the right way. And so in so doing, what I found is that I ended up getting paid more and more and more and more just for doing the other things I was good at, which is looking for the exploits. Well, how do you mean that? Well, most of my background is in IT and working with systems, computer systems. Now, I've had a pretty diverse background in working for IT companies. Many of you who know me because that's what got me to where I am. I'm watching Tracker stretch, but looking at the camera. So I'm not really watching him, but I see it, and I think you guys are going to think that's cute. And that's great, because sometimes we need comic relief when things get really serious. Today I'm dropping some really serious information on you. So some of the ways that we game the system now, even though we're getting paid really well, is we try to minimize our costs so that we can retire with this theoretical amount of however much it's going to take us to be comfortable for the rest of our days. So what I recognized is if I'm not trying to save money, I'm not causing the ills that I had been experiencing along the way, which in turn made me have to work longer because I needed to be able to take all those prescriptions. So as we continue about our daily lives thinking about discounted foods and scamming the systems and shortcutting, let's also think about stealing, as in we can be stealing from ourselves. And the way that I mention that and the way I say that is in all earnest. It's very serious when we take and we eat nutrients that maybe aren't really nutrients. When we eat foods that are enriched rather than eating the real rich food that has the real nutrients. When you steal from yourself, your body has to cannibalize itself. And so your bones, all of these different things, your mental acuity, your agility, your ability to stay healthy to begin with, is something that we're stealing from. We're stealing from our own powerhouse, from our own corporation of good. And you know that because at a certain point when most of that good is gone, all you have is this voice that's coming from what we've been fueling our bodies with, which is usually bad. And I'm saying that from experience. I'm saying that not because you're feeling that way. I'm not saying that to say, hey, you're a thief. I'm calling you out. I'm saying, no, I'm a thief. I was a common thief. And it took a while for me to recognize it and see that, these things they write about in the good book and in so many stories about how we can either be a part of the solution or a part of the problem, it seems pretty obvious. When we feel good about the decision that we're making, it shows. We smile about it, we're happy, we succeed at that job that we're providing, and guess what? Whenever we're happy in doing our jobs in that manner, we deserve to get paid what we're getting paid, so we accept it as if it's something that we deserve. There's a difference between being arrogant about it. For an example, let's just say you work at a big corporation and you got one of those amazing bonuses and you had to feel the need to say XX.X% bonus. Now, what exactly are you telling to all the other people who don't get that bonus and who maybe deserved it just as much as you anyway? These are the things that we have to think about as we determine whether or not we're grateful for what we're doing or what's being done for us, or we're just taking from the system without returning something back in earnest. I recognized the difference some time back. I recognized that there are many levels to this journey of enlightenment. But the first step that helped me to have the energy to overcome the last thing that I was doubting, that I was fighting with internally in my mind, was the foods I ate. As I changed the foods I ate, I saw that it was a solution to my own personal health, unlocking happiness in my mind, and also it changes the stream of destruction that was happening in my wake as I errantly ate all of the discounted foods that were eroding my own body and also the systems that the food was coming from to begin with. Now, it might be that I'm wrong because all I've done is stayed at a Holiday Inn Express several times, but I'm not a licensed physician. Might be that I'm wrong, that these foods are causing the ills that we're seeing in an entire society across multiple demographics. It might be that I'm wrong, but prove it to me, and we'll see. We'll see if the results show through, because if there's one thing that I've learned, it's that faith, it's great. Faith plus action is the thing that causes change. So if we're not taking action in ourselves, we don't show any change. If we seem to change suddenly because we're taking action and it's going in a direction that we didn't want it to, and if it's burdening our clothing and our societies, then maybe we need to change and rein it in just a little bit. Maybe we need to share a little bit more. Maybe even we need to share our personal stories a little bit more to let it out. Because there are a ton of people listening out there, just like me. And I'm listening because there are a lot of people that needed to talk. I don't like to talk. That's not my natural state. I'm only sharing information and knowledge that I hope will help you along your journey, because I know that it transformed my entire life. We're talking night and day. So wherever I've worked, whatever I've done in the past, as I started to grow up, all of that's amazing. It's all contributed to who I've become. But so is your story. All of what you've done is amazing. Everything that you've ever done to get to where you are has made you the person who you are with the thoughts that you have. You also have solutions to these very problems that I keep talking about every day. My focus is wildlife and nature. Other people's focus might be, I don't know, astronomy, might be some kind of culinary genius, might be that you're some kind of an author, might be something entirely different from my direction. Here I am, I'm just trying to say it doesn't matter what you do, as long as you're happy doing it, you get paid for it. It's true. I can't deny it. Everything that I've done that has brought joy to me has brought me money. There's no way around it. So, if you're struggling right now with some kind of thoughts, you don't know what to do, you don't know where to turn, first thing, turn inwards. Look in the mirror. Talk to yourself in the mirror. Might sound crazy, but it might be that there are two personas in you. Might be, and again, I'm not a doctor, not licensed, or anything like that. Most people probably would say I'm crazy for saying the things I'm saying. For me, if I was looking at me telling that story, I would say, that guy is just being honest. There's nothing crazy about him. In fact, I like him because he's being honest. And since he's being honest, maybe his results that he's sharing are honest as well. I'm not sure. He's never asked me to pay for any of that stuff. He's not stealing from me, and I'm not. Maybe you're stealing from me if you're not helping me to showcase this knowledge. If you want to erode me, you're going to have to try a lot harder because the food I'm eating is pretty damn healthy. And it helps me to become a powerhouse of awesome. And I can overcome any obstacle as long as I feel happy about what I'm doing. I'm absolutely happy about what I'm doing because I'm not holding back. And I don't have to hold back because people love me for who I am. People love you for who you are. So, I challenge you. If you're eating a certain way and it's taking from your health, let's say that you get regular colds, flus, viruses, whatever, and let's say that you decide that you want to do something different, I challenge you, just consider looking up 7-Day Vegan Challenge. Again, check with your doctor because I'm not licensed or anything. And there are some people who will need to eat differently. You have to find your own middle ground based on whatever obstacles you're facing right now. But the best thing is, don't steal. That's the message of this story. Don't steal from yourself. Don't steal from others. I was a child. I was trying to fit in. I was trying to be something and have the same products that other people had. And I happened to like very precisely built electronics and systems. That's the kind of thing I put together so that it can't be exploited. It can't fail. My backup plans have a backup plan, but I try to make that first plan so ironclad that it will succeed. The only way that can happen, though, is because we're all working together. We all build something together. If I present an idea to someone, let's say I'm trying to support and work with a business, local business, and I ask them to build something for me, all I ask is that it get built respectfully to the specifications that I provided. That'll help me to become a regular customer. That's happened over and over with small businesses who started out with some idea and became something genius and amazing. That's the kind of a Steve Jobs story that you've heard. That's a Michael Dell. That's basically anyone who's decided to take their direction and move forward with 100% quality and vision that it was going to succeed. For me, when I tell you less meat per week is going to succeed, I think it's true. The research is out there. It's sustainable. It reduces the impact that we've caused to all of our environments. And it's not stealing because we're not supporting the corporations who are absolutely continuing to help erode all of those resources that we supposedly want to protect. So that's my message. Stop stealing. Have a great day.